And welcome to an interview. I am here with up and coming rapper slash. Do you produce? I don't remember if you said you produce or not. But basically, small artist from Missouri. His name is Broodboy. Brood, how you doing today, man?
Yo,
And
hello.
I've met this. How long? When did I meet you? Like a few months back, probably by now.
Uh, yeah, it's been probably
I
like
know
8 months.
something like that. I don't know. From whenever you started dating Hannah, probably like an additional month or so afterwards.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's
It's
been
been
it's
been a
been like eight
while.
months or so.
Damn, time be going fast. I've got nothing to do. It's fucking hell.
I
But,
feel that.
but yeah,
I
let's go ahead
feel.
and kick this off. Let's not take up too much of your time. I appreciate you for sitting down with me doing this. Although we did just sit down with a big group of us at like 12 a.m. in the morning.
No, it's fine.
But yeah.
It's totally good.
All right. Well, the first thing I wanted to ask you, the main thing is, obviously you're a rapper, a little bit of an auto crooner. What made you get into music? What
Uh,
really kicked off the what really kicked off the drive to go ahead and like kind of do that sort of artistic endeavor?
so a lot of what I was doing at the time, was actually it started in eighth grade. Like thoroughly, just because I started producing and making a lot of my own music, like instrumentals, beats primarily. And I wanted to get into something because around that same time was whenever the internet was really starting to kind of open up a little bit more, and people were a lot more interested in networking with others and people online. And the online aspect was something that I really enjoyed, to be able to like share my own stuff. The irony of that is, I actually never ended up even sharing anything that I really did, because a lot of the stuff that I was doing was pretty much self growth, and self motivated. So I wanted to continue to like do something that made myself happy. I would show like friends every now and then, like different productions and stuff that I've made. Um, but it's really what got me like kick started into thinking that I wanted to possibly do music full time. It never really became an idea of like a career until later on necessarily. But I always knew that it's something that I really wanted to do. But I went to a high school which, like after eighth grade, I went to a high school which really like prides themselves on like when their kids graduate and shit like that. Like they absolutely know what they're going into. They're all really skilled at it. It's like a prestige high school, as they would like to like kind of say it. But I was that kid that never really knew what I wanted to do. I wasn't like, yeah, I'm gonna be a doctor, like, or I'm gonna fucking go into engineering work or whatever it was, which I actually did end up doing, because I thought to myself, well, since I like technology and a lot of that stuff, which I still do to this day, that I would try it out. And I did. I went to college for 2 years for electrical engineering, and it
Didn't know
was
that.
it was pretty. It was okay. The kids that were in that classes that I was surrounded by were so much more uh, technically intelligent than I was at a lot of the stuff. I was never really good at like math and science and shit. Anyways, I love it. Math doesn't lie to me, and science is super interesting. But it's just something that I never really was really truly passionate about. Actually, during this time, too, in high school at least, I was still doing music production. I would have like my laptop and bring it with me everywhere, but I got picked up for modeling work. So what I was really focusing on that time was doing uh, that. I was traveling around. I lived in London for about a year, and I was in Europe for a good portion of time. Um, but really, that's when it first started. Was, I would say, eighth grade. Before then, I was still super into music. I just never did any like self production or anything like that. Uh, until like 8th grade. It was really. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. Be like, oh my, my whole life I've been producing.
I'm the next Dr.
Or,
Dre. Like, yeah, no.
yeah, I'm not. I'm not. I've always loved music, and I've done music since I was very little. But I didn't start producing and doing shit for myself until like 8th grade. So.
Okay, so then you spoke on earlier that you said that you never really showed anybody anything. Is that maybe due to the fact that were you a little bit of a little bit more of an introverted kid? Were you like a little shy and like when you were in during those phases of you like learning how to produce, learning how to make beats? Is this just like a self shit, like a kid in a shell kind of thing, or is it just like I don't want to release it, I just don't want to?
Kind of. Honestly, it was kind of a mixture of both.
Okay.
For me personally, I I am more INFJ, which stands strictly for like I am more introverted to sorts. So I would keep to myself quite a bit. Um, and but I wanted to do. It was really more looking for something to do that nobody else was really doing, because everyone else at the time, like I said, when I was going into my high school stage, um, all kind of had an idea, and I wanted to strictly. I really did. I wanted to stick out, but I wanted to stick out for myself. So I didn't really feel the need to tell anyone a lot of stuff. I wanted to. Eventually, I would, but like a lot of the friends that I had at the time pretty much shit on me for it, just because it's something that I wanted to do, and like I literally would be made fun of for it, and it's just one of those cases like people that don't understand something that you enjoy.
Yeah, they
Are
can't
pretty.
grasp it. They can't grasp the
They're
concept.
they're super close minded. So for me, that's pretty much just what it was, and I'm not I'm not trying to sound cocky in the sense, but realistically, what it was just that I wanted to do something for myself. Um, and eventually, if I would try to show people here and there, but I never actually ended up posting anything or anything. And still to this day, I myself have never posted anything, even through a distributor. At least right now, just because one, I haven't had to, but two, um, I've made so much strictly for myself that isn't even released. Not even production wise. Like I'll sit back and I'll go through like a lot of my files on my computer and stuff, and all the stuff that I still have all of my old shit, like ever since I first started making stuff, and it's ass. It's pure ass. Like a lot of it is pure ass. Um, but a lot of it is from because of how I wanted to keep to myself. Again, I liked people, uh, kind of, I guess. So, which is fine. A lot of my friends were very like extroverted, and I had a large group of friends at the time. But again, like even in a large group of people that you may have friends with, you still can feel like pretty by yourself a lot of the time. So.
Yeah, that 100% makes sense. Now you spoke. Obviously, you said like even before you started making music, you were still super into music. What do you think? What were like your early influences growing up? What were you listening to? Because you're older than me, so you might
So
have a little bit outdated compared to me, or maybe not because I'm a little bit
yeah,
of an old head. But
yeah. No. So that's actually a really good question because I like to be that guy. Honestly, that's like yeah, like a lot of shit like really inspires me at times. But honestly, it's for the meme because to be frank, I really didn't give a fuck about what other people were doing, and a lot of shit didn't necessarily inspire me because I still to this day will like stroke my own ego with this and be like, nobody fucking inspired me to do the shit that I wanted to. I saw other people doing things that I saw like I was like, oh, I could do that, but like a large majority of shit is like was pretty much self oriented. Like a lot of stuff that I listened to was super unique, but it never made me actually truly feel like I wanted to do it. Um, like for example, of course I would listen to like very at the time it was mainstream. Like Skrillex was like in eighth grade. Like it was
was that 2012
the more
somewhere in there, right? 2012,
the more
2013.
yeah the more popular shit back then, right? And it was cool, and like obviously shout out Skrillex, he's fucking incredible. Um, but I still like to pride myself on feeling like I wasn't really inspired by shit. And I don't think I was truthfully inspired by shit until about 2 years ago. Because to inspire me is very hard to do. Because I'm very hard to please myself. I'm never really satisfied, which is a very bad habit to have. But finding stuff that helps me feel that way is something that I've always kind of really wanted to grow towards, which is super funny because a lot of people they'll be like, yeah, like actually I listen to a lot of this and that and whatever. Like, bro, I listen to fucking, it didn't inspire me, but I listened to like, I was that emo kid in high school. I listened to fucking Screamo. That's pretty much what I did. It didn't inspire me to do shit because I like, I don't
You're just in your feels.
Screamo. I mean, I may take some like feeling from things, but not necessarily the idea. Because a lot of the feeling I take comes from myself, anyways. And to take an idea from something is really what's truly inspiring. So a lot of things, ideally, I feel like don't really affect me as much. But I mean, if you were to ask me what I listened to a lot of back then, it would have been Skrillex. It would have been like rock, screamo, obviously, weird shit. I remember going to like a Lindsey Sterling concert, which is corny as fuck back then.
Sterling, I haven't heard that name in years.
I remember doing that. I was at like Warped Tour, like shit, way back then. So, that was what was cool back then, and it's obviously very different now. But then, like I said, a lot of what I listened to was very diverse. It wasn't even just like those things specifically. I've always really just enjoyed what I've enjoyed. It is very changing though, I will say, because you kind of come from a space where you listen to music a lot just to enjoy it, right? But then for me, as you change, like to someone who does music career-wise, my enjoyment has changed very, very drastically. I do not enjoy I am not inspired by the same things that I necessarily was or quote unquote could have been to begin with. So very diverse and changing. I like to have variety.
That's good. It's good to have variety. It's definitely very important to have variety, especially in the music space, because I feel like if you get locked up in into one sound or one style, you'll only really have that to pull from.
Right. And a lot of it too. I was listening to like EDM and shit. Like I really well. I was listening to hard style, just really dumb shit as a kid. So
everyone did.
But I grew up. My mom like raised me listening to like lullabies and shit. So I really enjoyed a lot of. I really enjoyed like a lot of that stuff, to be honest.
What was I raised on? I gotta think about this. I was raised on two very different styles of music. I was raised on AC/DC and Iron Maiden and stuff like that from my dad, but my mom was a lot more R&B, a lot more Usher, Pitbull, Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, my mom had that phase too, where she a lot of you know what, if we're talking about inspirations, my mom, that's my musical inspiration, if anything, because
love that,
because my mom is the one that really cultured me and showed me a lot of shit. So I would listen to a lot from her. I would listen to, at least whenever I was very, very little, she would play, like I said, like a lot of lullaby music. I can't remember the artist's name, like off the top of my head right now, but really incredible singers. And then like eventually it turned into like Mary J. Blige and like Squeeze, which was like British rock, kind of a little bit stuff like that. So a lot of European stuff, to be honest. But
you spoke about your time in England and across Europe. Did you end up enjoying any of the musical styles you heard of there? Like I know England, big like 100% drill. Bro. Like that's just some of the, even like some of the German pop, the German EDM, any of that kind of stuff.
1000%. Bro, it's such a different culture. Like I love the United States and it's great. Shout out freedom. But high key, when my time in Europe, like that I had at least, and I'm planning on going back obviously soon too, but the time that I had in Europe was very surreal because a lot of the music that my mom had raised me off of, I was hearing a lot of it over there, which is super cool because I really enjoyed it. And as a kid, when you listen to a lot of, at least in the United States, when you listen to a lot of like international music, um, even if it becomes more popularized and national, like some of Squeeze music and shit like that, like um, it's really nice to feel like you fit in a way, and it's very comfortable. And um, man, I visited a lot of places. I visited the cave. There's this. It's basically the cave is like this place where like the Beatles played back in the day, and like a lot of really underground, not so known venues. I was able to visit, and experiencing a lot of the culture there. It's very similar. Like a lot. It's I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. A lot of it is very similar because there really isn't like a whole huge difference. Obviously, like the food and what people usually do and how they behave during the days and nights are pretty different. Like over there, it's very at least like because I was like 18, 19 whenever I was there too. Um, and a lot of the time when I was there, like kids who were even younger than me at the time, were like able to drink and they were already like out in like clubs and shit.
Yeah.
Because like the club scene is like
yeah,
huge.
18, there's legal age.
Yeah, club. So the club scenes are like really big. So a lot of EDM I like was able to take in again, which is really cool. But even actually at that time, I was kind of over my EDM, like my feeling of just listening to EDM too, because a lot of it I just was getting really bored of. Um, I really like I listened to a lot of that, like I said on my like earlier years, like early on and shit. Um, but it was very very enjoyable. Um, if people can have the opportunity to experience other culture at any point, they definitely should.
Yeah, I do
Obviously.
want to put that in real quick. If you have the opportunity to travel. It's fantastic. It opens up your worldview. Like, it's amazing what like going to another country can do for your mental, like overall, like how you perceive the world. It's a different experience.
Absolutely, yeah. People are so like stuck in the mindset of like, yeah, like I could do that, like, and it probably would be cool, but I'm more comfortable with this. And the bro, complacency bothers the fuck out of me. Like I hate that shit.
Yeah, I
Like
know it
if
does.
you have any opportunity to take it, why not take the opportunity to? So
Yeah,
it's just
100%, 100%. So I got to ask because I'm curious. I've heard you two on a track before. How did you end up meeting Trio?
okay. So Rio, I call him Rio. Rio's like my brother. Like Rio is like one of my best friends. And I met Rio actually like what is it? It's 2021 right now. So
Yeah.
I met him 2 years ago, technically now, which is again to me it's like time has flown by because of like everything that's been going on with
Yeah.
the Backstreet Boys reunion tour. I can't say it because I can't say what it actually is because it'll demonetize you. But
You can say what it is. We're far enough in the
but,
video. We're good.
but basically, um, I met him 2 years ago, and it's actually really crazy because before Rio, I was by myself. I've always been by myself doing shit, like my house. Um, my my grandmother died. She passed away, and gave me my house, which is where I've literally stayed pretty much my whole life, which is kind of weird to think about. I've moved around like in second grade, I think once, but otherwise, like I've been very little places in the United States. I have not moved around a lot. Like I've been very. I live in a fucking cave, bro. I'm a fucking vampire. I'm telling you.
I've seen
So
your backdrop. It looks
I
like
was in
it.
my cave. I was in my cave, and one day I decided, hey, I'm gonna try to meet some more friends because I had no fucking friends at all. So I went out, and I got invited to like this birthday party in St. Louis, and so I ended up going. It was at this club or whatever. It was like corny as fuck, and
I don't really give a fuck about clubs, if you can't tell. It doesn't really, like, it doesn't impress me all that much. But I had friends there that invited me from high school that I kind of have kept in touch with, like for a while. I was, how old was I? I think 23, 22 or something. But I went out and visited them and kind of celebrated their birthday parties. And I met this bartender there. He came up to me and he's like, hey, bro, like, I really fuck with their outfit. Like, it's really cool. And I've always dressed super weird. Like, I've always done it to please myself, because if you're not pleasing yourself, you're not doing it right, kids. So dress for yourself, not for other people. So I did. I was cool as fuck. my confidence, my confidence was
You
up
had the
there. It was
swagger.
super nice.
You had the
I
swagger.
met this guy. His name is Dominique, and he was like, "Yeah, bro, I really fuck with your style. It's really cool. Like, I don't see people around here dressed like you that much." I was like, "Hey, I appreciate it." Again, a lot of my shit is because I was doing stuff with modeling for so long. I was like, "Hey, yo, bro, I appreciate it. Like, I really fuck with your style too. You're super kind, and like, for you to come up to me is super rare." And Dominique's like, "Yeah, man. So later on after this, because he worked there, he was like one of the bartenders.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah, bro, like, come hang out with me and my people later tonight." It was like 11 at this time, but I was like, "Yeah, for sure. Like, why not?" And at this point, again, like, I'm freaking out inside because I had really bad social anxiety. I still kind of do, but I was like, "Damn, bro, this guy actually really fucks with me for no reason. I have no idea why." And a lot of people can relate to that. I feel like, just because, like, again, you go from like really keeping to yourself for so long, and then you're like, "All right, I'm gonna try this," and for it to work out was pretty much a fucking miracle in my eyes, because that's what I did. After the birthday party, I went and I met him. He like shot me the address. He DM'd me, and I pulled up, and it was Dominique and a bunch of other guys at this other sort of like clubbish thing. It's pretty cool. It's like a lounge. But they had a VIP section, and he invited me there, and I was like, "Well, what the fuck, dude? Like, this is weird." I've never once been in VIP ever. It's a very weird experience. So I showed up, and I met up with him and some of his homies. And Trio was one of those guys. Trio has been friends with Damo for like a really long time. And Trio, I had met him. He was weird as fuck. That's why I kind of connected with him too. I was like, "Man, this goofy ass, tall ass, light skin man, this man handsome as fuck. He's handsome as fuck. I already know he fucks bitches out here. It makes no sense." And he's got this confident ass attitude. Damo, all the guys there that I met that night were super fucking cool. But Rio and I just kind of clicked, and he's like, "Yeah, man, I just got back from LA," and he was talking to me, and I was like, "Oh, that's really sick." And again, like, he's telling me all this shit that, like, I know other people would probably like freak out about, but he even brought this up. He's like, "Yeah, it's funny. Whenever I brought it up to you, like, I got back from LA and I wanted to do all this shit. He's like, you really didn't do anything." I was like, "Well, no. What? What do you mean? Like, of course I'm not gonna do anything." He's like, "Well, most people like suck dick for clout, hella, or they're like really about that like fake ass kind of behavior in that life." And I was like, "Look, man, I just keep to myself." I like, again, I had no idea about it. I've never been to LA or anything like that, surprisingly. And so
You're not missing much.
yeah,
Don't
he
worry.
was super he was super nice to me, which is really cool. And he's like, "Yeah, man, this is what I want to do. I have this idea." And I've been thinking about doing something similar, right? Because I've been by myself way before meeting these guys. And I was planning on making my own music label and trying to branch out online more, management wise, I guess, on some label shit. I was still making music at that time too, but meeting Rio really is really what inspired me heavily, to be honest. One of the things, because again, when something inspires me, it's got to really. I appreciate the small details and things, but I don't get inspired unless they're big in my eyes. which is kind of hard to explain. Um, but so it's really funny because he was telling me all this shit about how he came back from LA because he was doing some music shit out there. He's a super interesting life. He like drove one of his jobs in LA. He like drove for like this billionaire's wife or some shit like that, and he's learned a lot. Definitely, he has a lot of experience behind him, which is really cool. And I respect the fuck out of him. But meeting him really kind of took off from there. Like I said, with the label stuff, because what ended up happening is we started working together and making our own label together, which is what we did, which is really dope. And the label today, it's called BMG, Blank Music Group currently. It was really funny because we have a lot of mock-ups of things that Rio was going to name his own label before, like Trinity Music Group or like a lot of other shit. Just on some like corny technical shit. It really doesn't even matter. But how I really met him was by chance, because not just because of Damo, but Rio had lived in St. Louis before he went to LA and came back. So I had just missed Rio like the years prior, and he had been recording at the studio in St. Louis that I currently like, that we all record at every now and then too, because we have a lot of friends up there and a lot of really great engineers. And so he had met, and he had been working with this guy Rich for a really long time, because he's been doing music like for a really, really long time. I know that. And I had met Rich even before I met Damo and all the homies. And Rich and I would talk, and he would tell me stories of like these other artists that he has, and a lot of them like are super fucking like they're super ego, they're super like this, that, or the other, whatever, da da da. Like a lot of the artists he works with, he didn't fuck with, but he really fucked with Rio. So he would tell me these stories of Rio, and I didn't know who this guy was. I'd be like, okay, well, cool. Like he's just this goofy ass kid that comes and records with you, and whatever else. He's not, he's a rapper and this and compared to a lot of these other like street ass, like hood ass dudes, like he was really different. So I would hear shit about him, and then whenever Rio came back, and I had met him and everything, and we had gone to the studio together, Rich was like, it's really funny that you guys met, because you technically met through me, and you knew about each other like 2 years prior before even knowing each other. So I was like, what the fuck? That's so weird.
That's some wild shit right there.
Now, granted, St. Louis is small. Like, it really is. St. Louis ain't shit. Like, I see the same goddamn people every day, and I hate it. Like, I really, really do. It's really annoying. Like, you'll even hear Rio complain about shit. He'll be like, man, I see the same bitches everywhere. Da da da. Like, it's so annoying. I can't talk to any new people, because he really enjoys it. And now I do, a little bit more than I used to. But it's super funny too. A lot of growth has come between us over time, which I hope it does with anybody, obviously. But unfortunately, it doesn't sometimes. But with us, it really did. Rio is also very introverted, but him and I have both learned to be a little more extroverted when it comes to networking with people, because a lot of it, again, like, networking is so important on both a mental aspect as well as like a business one, because we were doing it on some business shit, and really, whenever you start to do something for so long, you kind of just pick up on what really works and like what really matters, and like making really genuine connections with people is so important, as opposed to a lot of shit, because a lot of labels won't do that, right? A lot of labels will make connections, but they're a business, and that's all it is, right? It's just like they make these connections with people, and they're like, cool, we can utilize that. And this is a little bit different for us. We talk with these people. Like, anybody we meet, we sit down with them a lot of the time. We usually meet them in person at some point. Like, we'll have dinner with people, whatever it is, and make genuine, like, personal connection, because which generally most of the time, we genuinely care about someone, which is really, really awesome. But to answer your question, that's really how I met Rio, was a fluke. Uh,
That's funny.
is
It's a funny way to put it.
is just is through other people, and we were just kind of like destined to meet in a weird way. Even I don't
I
really
get what
believe
you mean. I get what you mean.
the predestined as much, but that's really what it was.
Imagine
I
I
was like,
edit.
damn, I'm really supposed to meet this guy. Like, what the fuck? That's crazy.
Imagine I edit out that entire section and just put to answer your question.
No, you're fine.
No, I'm not. I'm too lazy to edit. And another question I have about both of you, because I do want to talk to him at some point, is how did the songs "Element" and "On My Mind" come together? Because those are the two songs that you guys have with each other.
So at Rio, so we've been working on a lot of music together,
So
in collaboration.
I'd like to say "Element"
And
fucking bangs. I still listen to that like pretty often. I think that song.
hell yeah,
bangs.
yeah, it's a cool track. It really is. It's really it's pretty unique. I a lot of what we had decided to do was Rio had made an album prior. It was a while ago. Like it was a really long time ago, I guess like about a year and a half or two, like around the time that we met. And whenever I met him, he was making an album at the time, and it was actually really not bad. He doesn't give himself enough credit for it. The songs on the album were really not too awful. But again, we're pretty big perfectionist minds, so
Is that the same album that's out right now?
no, not at all.
Okay.
It was called something completely different. We had the 7 song idea in it, because again, with a lot of his branding, because his angel number is 7, and he goes a lot by that because it's his favorite number and shit too. So we were gonna do that, and originally, actually, you know what it was originally? This was one of the ideas. So the album is called 777 currently. And the original idea for it was to be like at like a carnival, or like a gambling, like a casino kind of energy with it, because a lot of the music on that was very like arcadey, I would put, as far as like how it felt. And there were like a lot of other ideas that he had. Finding his sound. Again, and sound changes all the time, mind you. People don't understand that, but
100%. Listen to MGK now versus 2012. Like
absolutely. But the average consumer, like the people that listen, they don't think of it as an artist does necessarily, which isn't bad, but again, it's just how it is. But so there was a lot of ideas that we had in it. But the 777 we ended up coming up with, we were actually we were like at the gym or some shit, and he was like, hey bro, what if I did this album to be 7 different songs for seven Rio? And he was like freaking out about it. He's like, I already have like 5 out of the 7 songs. So like after this workout, like we can just come up with some like melody ideas and bust them out and whatever else. And Element ended up being one of those songs. And when I work with Rio, it's I don't really ever feel the need to be like, yeah, man, I would really like to get on this song, because if there's a song that Rio ever wants to do or collab with me, he already has it in mind. He's already like, yep, I'm gonna do this one with you. I need you to make this and do a verse for it or whatever. And that's part of the reason why we flow together so well. I think it's just because like he isn't afraid to just like tell me shit, which is the same thing with me. Like we're straight up with each other 100% of the time. He's my fucking twin. So we were at the gym like fucking getting fatty gains and shit. You know what I'm saying? And and he was like,
"Yo, album mode, let's go."
Yeah, it really was. It was very spur of the moment. Because again, he wasn't happy with the album he had before, and he's like, I really want to make like just a super like simple song, even if it's not that great. That's really what he said. I was like, sure, whatever you want to do, like I'm down with it. And he's like, well, I have this melody idea I want to put down. So after our workout, we had gone and we were recording in his home studio. We were throwing some shit together, and he came up with, he's like, yeah, bro, like, I think it'd be really cool, because a lot of the song talks about basically like being in your element and like being confident enough to like get success either financially or whatever. And really being able to feel that you're like making progress, because it's about progress is really what it is. And a lot of his album was kind of like that, and also figuring out a little bit more of what direction he wanted to take his musical career as an artist. And again, for people that don't know, the reason I know about all this shit and about this other person so much is strictly just because I spend pretty much every fucking day talking. Like, he'll literally, we annoy each other so fucking much. We'll just call each other out of nowhere. If he's having sex, I'll fucking call him and he'll answer me in the middle of it. He'd be like, oh shit, oh fuck, oh, yeah, hey bro, what's up? And he'll talk to me about it, and it's cool. It's cool as fucking. And we'll talk about business, or we'll talk about whatever we need to get done. You know, if there's a song that we've been working on. So we're very straightforward with each other. And I'm very lucky to have that, for sure.
If I don't hear that lyric on the next project, I'm gonna be mauling.
So yeah, and it really is. It's really dope because he's such a talented fucking guy. He really is. And I call him a kid because, like, again, to me, we're both still kids. Like, we're both still very young. It's just like a lot of the work that we get done is spur of the moment, or at least it was. A lot of it is more organized and planned out now, just because we have a lot bigger of a team that we're dealing with. So other people help us out, or, I mean, granted, a lot of the work that we still do is our own. But if we're doing collaborative work, like how Element came out, it's a lot of coming up with like a melody idea first. Because that's what really being an artist is. I'm telling you right now. Like, in the middle of I'll be walking down the street and I'll think of something and I'll be like, I got to write this down.
Oh,
and then I do. You ever see the meme? It's like, there's this like video that went viral that was like this, like, you can't see their faces, but it's like these people fucking, and then there's this third guy sitting on the bed just writing in his book.
Oh,
and
yes,
he's like, hey bro, if you're a real rapper, any moment of the day, you got to write this lyric down. It doesn't matter what you're doing. And he's just like sitting in the bed writing his lyrics down. It's so funny.
I do remember this clip. Yeah. I do remember that clip. But yeah.
But really, it was like that. Element didn't have like a necessary. The only idea it had was like, okay, we wanted to talk about like being in our element, because that's really what it was. We were in the gym and we were like, okay, like we're really feeling our element right now. We want other people to be able to feel their element too. So that's kind of a lot of where that inspiration comes from for that song. And then a lot of the other songs on this album, like I said, the 777 one, was figuring out more melodic ideas and direction for how he wanted himself to sound because of artist development, for his first album, technically. I guess you could call it an EP because it really isn't like super long, but
yeah, it's seven songs. It's like 25 minutes, I think, or something like that.
Yeah. But a lot of it just comes out of the spur of the moment, like that, for sure.
That's fair. Now, another question about Element is: did you intend to sound like Lil Uzi Vert when you were in the booth?
Oh, first off, I don't intend to sound like shit.
No, I know, because I heard through the grapevine how the track was made. Is that you went in the booth and freestyled it, and it just kind of came out like that.
Well, a lot of the work that I do is actually, it's literally only that. My entire like artist development, that I call it that, like before Rio and before meeting the guys that I have, a lot of it was that I think Rich told me, one of the engineers I work with now told me that that's what like apparently Lil Wayne does, and I had listened to like Lil Wayne and shit and like Tupac and whatever the fuck else. Like, I've listened to a lot of that stuff like as a kid, but I was never sucking dick about it. Like, I was never like, yeah, like their styles are like this or whatever. But like apparently Lil Wayne does that where he'll go in the booth and shit, and I learned about that, and he'll just freestyle it out, but then he'll go back and like kind of carve it out. It's like if you have marble, right, or stone, and you have this thing, and you're kind of like chipping away at whatever it is to get the final idea, and which I thought was super fucking cool. It was super unique, and why like I think Wayne is so fucking
Yeah, Wayne's
talented.
goated. Yeah, Wayne's goated.
And and a lot of that, it was cool because I was like, okay, well, cool, because I did that naturally for myself. So because I was able to like freestyle a lot of the melody and a lot of the words that I was putting out there at the time, I was able then to, and I still do this today. It's still my work process where I'll freestyle most of it, and then I will go back and really define the detail, which is really just shorthand bullshit, sugarcoat for like I'll go back and define the lyrics more, or like I'll fix like certain if I fuck up like a certain key, like with my vocals and shit like that, because I'm like very particular with what I do. I guess.
I'm not trying to like flame you or like put you in a box. I
No,
remember when I was
no. You're
listening to
definitely
it. I
no,
was
you're
like,
definitely not. People have the liberty to say whatever. But I get that a lot though too. I get like I sound like this, that, or the other. I'm going to sound like this, that, and the other because there's so many different things that I have listened to, and that's strictly just it. Like it's no dick riding shit. It's no nothing else. It's strictly just like what I've always done, and how I've been able to progress it and make it sound better for myself. It's never been for anyone else.
yeah, 100%.
And because I've gotten it to where people have been like, "Yeah, you sound like Uzi and shit like that." I'm like, I don't like bet.
That's not a bad
cool.
thing to be. I mean, he makes some pretty
Yeah, I
okay
don't-
music.
Like, I may sound like something else, but they're still like he's not me.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not him, and that's what's so unique about it. It doesn't fucking matter what it sounds like or whatever the fuck.
It's true. You didn't try to buy a planet. That's for fucking sure.
Hey, I would though. Listen, I'm trying to get the chip in my head. I'm telling you, I'm trying to have some robotics.
Bro, when I read that, I was like, he's got to be fucking capping. He's got to be capping.
No, hell no. That shit's sick. Yeah,
It's cool.
Man, I fuck with
It's
it.
funny, but like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool in a way.
Yeah,
He's unique.
no,
he's
absolutely.
He's definitely like he's like got that like that young thug fucking English except whatever the fucking fuck
I'm weak.
the plurality of the word eccentric. Like he has
Yes.
like that young thug kind of personality.
Eccentricity.
That's the fucking one. There we go.
Yes.
Holy
Yes.
shit! I don't know if I'm not editing that out. That was funny.
He definitely does. And that's actually him and I used to listen to him and Grimes like a fuckload, and I know him and Grimes are really tight.
Grimes.
And
I don't. Do I recognize that name? Wait, that's Elon Musk's wife, isn't it?
yeah, she's an artist.
I don't think I've ever listened
But,
to her music.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be such good friends with them. I'm just speaking that out into the world right now, honestly, because like I really do.
I feel like Elon
man.
Musk is just a cool dude.
Oh, absolutely. No, I feel like he's super funny. He's got a really good humor about him. Obviously, he's super fucking intelligent. But
He's got that business.
yeah,
brain.
I really fucked with them heavy. I still do. I I love Uzi. Uzi's dope as fuck.
Yeah, Uzi's put out some really good stuff.
He's a goofy ass dude. That's what I kind of fuck with. He's not a goofy. He's just goofy.
No, I remember the first time I heard Uzi on that. Was it 2016 XXL freshman cipher? You know the one.
Yeah, bro. Facts. Yeah, and a lot of it's super unfortunate because people clown on him so much. To be honest, they think he's like weird, this, that, and the other, and he
weird,
is.
But his hooks are slick as hell.
But like, the thing is, like, if you call me weird, I'm fucking honored, bitch. I'm honored as
100%. I live in that. I agree with that 100%. 100%. I want to ask this because I'm curious because a lot of people ask newer younger generation kids, people like us or maybe even like a little older than us. What's your position on Eminem? Do you think he should still be making music, or do you think he's a little bit too far gone?
Oh my god, bro! What the fuck kind of question, man? Emmett, man,
I would like to start this off by
Eminem.
saying I am a fan of Eminem. I am a fan.
I respect Eminem. I don't. I mean, I don't know if I would like call myself a fan or whatever. I would say fan. I categorize things in two ways. I like either a fan or a supporter. I'm a fan of Eminem. He's cool. I was never that fucking kid because like a lot of people will probably like if they see this or whatever be like, oh, like well he's Caucasian and da da da. He came from Caucasian this that or the other. Bitch, I never had an Eminem phase like a lot of you dumbass hoes. Honestly, I never felt the need. I heard it. Like I've listened to shit. I'm not like ignorant towards it or whatever the fuck. I respect his fucking entire life and his livelihood. And it's dope as shit. And he's cool and he's got a really great personality and he is very, very skillful. There is no doubt. No one can argue that at all. And I do enjoy his music at times, but I was never that person that like
You never that dude just memorize fucking fill up with them and little.
no, I never really did. But there was like people who were like in my high school again, because my high school was like really prestigious, but there was still some really corny ass white kids that would like be like, "Oh, bro, I'm like Eminem, like like I can spit this whole verse, this whole fucking like this shit's so stupid." Like, shout out to shout out to them, but that's not me. But no, he should absolutely. I think anyone should continue to make music. I don't get it, like age doesn't matter, truthfully.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was hoping to say because I don't know I don't know if he's put on anything newer recently since that remix of that song on his deluxe cut, but I don't know. I feel like he gets a lot of hate, but what an icon still.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolute icon. So, do we have? This might be a little bit too sensitive information, but you don't have to talk about it. Do you gonna drop a solo single soon, or maybe a collab EP with Trio, maybe, or is there anything like that that works? Or you still putting the head
There's
down?
a ton. There's a ton in the making for sure, and not even in the making. There's a lot that we've already done, like with Rio and I together, collab work wise for sure. I have an album. Like I've been working on this album, and I've been putting a lot of songs together for it. It's just a like I can't explain to some people really how fucking hard it is to put together an album because kind of
It is hard.
like I
It
heard
is
this
hard.
I heard this shit that like Lil Dicky like would explain kind of as like a meme or whatever, but he's like it's got to be poignant, it's got to be like new and inventive and fun and energetic, like all this shit. Really, honestly, it doesn't need to be shit. It just needs to be something that people like. If that's something that you're trying to accomplish, otherwise, the only thing it needs to do is please yourself, because a lot of the stuff that I do is strictly for myself, in a very non-narcissistic way, but just in a kind of like I like to push myself and be proud of the things that I do, even if it's really hard for me to sometimes, because I'm up my own ass a lot with fucking figuring shit out. Like album wise, it's very stressful to put together. But I do have an album coming out, which is really dope. I have primarily a lot of singles are going to be coming out first,
I'm excited. I'm
which is
excited.
which is super nice because there's a lot that I've done that I like. I cringe at the fact that that it's just not out yet. Like I
Oh,
haven't
you
put it
see,
out,
I do
but
the opposite because I've got shit on SoundCloud stuff from back in my high school days, and it makes me want to puke.
see, but that's cool. That honestly, that is really cool. I just like I could have done that. I genuinely could have been. I could have had shit since fucking eighth grade or whatever out there, and a lot of people do, which is fine. It is really normal, but for some fucking reason, I told myself I like creating the shit that I have for as long as I have. I really just kept it all for whatever reason, so that when I felt like the timing was right, then I felt like I would be comfortable to like put it out. And honestly, the timing for me
felt right after I saw probably like the 3 or 4 most like inspirational people to me, um, like go through the shit that they had in such a short span of time, which for me, uh, it felt like the right time, at least because I had a lot of experience. I had personal experience with one of these guys. They were artists before too, but one of them being Juice, RIP Juice, like seeing a lot of his shit. Peep was like a huge inspiration to me as far as like his character, his behavior, his personality, how he cared for other people. Same thing with Juice, obviously, and
I think Juice
you
WRLD
know,
was sick. I think he was a young prodigy, man.
yeah, most definitely. I think
Although I won't
in
lie,
my eyes, anybody that does,
I do have to admit that I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really listen to Juice. I heard he died, and I had heard like a freestyle of him, like when he like freestyled an hour. I think it was on Tim Westwood. And I was like, yo, this dude fucks. And then
yeah, yeah,
obviously the Godzilla song with Eminem came out, and I was like, that hook's slick as hell. I need to get into this dude.
yeah, definitely, yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, the Godzilla song with Eminem was really, it was hard as fuck. I didn't really care for it nearly as much just because of personal preference, but
It
everything
still goes
everything that
off.
Juice
It
is
still goes
everything that
off. Yeah.
yeah, it does. Everything that Juice has done though really has been undeniably and factually very talented and has a lot of fucking feeling in it, which is something that I really liked. And and shout out to him and shout out to Peep and when primarily the primary one that has affected me just because again it was more personal was X. Whenever he passed away, it really fucked me up just because him and I were friends, and and him and I like we've talked, we've DM'd, and um, taken a lot of kind of not inspiration from each other, but more like expressed to each other like how appreciative like we had it when we did talk. It wasn't.
You're just open. You're just open with him.
It was yeah. It wasn't. It wasn't serious. It wasn't any shit like that. It's. I mean, no corny shit. It really was. Uh, very interesting because we were very similar. Uh, in certain aspects, he's a very angry individual, which is understandable.
I could tell.
Because
I remember his
I
early
was like
SoundCloud stuff, dude. That he was
I
screaming
was
into the
like that.
mic. Jeez.
Yeah, yeah, I was like that at times too. But at least back then, definitely. But him passing, nonetheless, it really fucked me up, and but it fucked up a lot of other people that I could tell really gave a shit to, like Billie Eilish, for example. And so, um, to be honest, like as of 4 years ago, the biggest like I again quote unquote inspirations to me, I guess you would fucking consider it to be, would be actually really be X and Billy both, which is weird because like ever since I've been making my music, to me, like if I describe people like myself, which a lot of people argue against me, it's fine. But a lot of the stuff that I kind of like label myself just to get it out of the way so that other people will fucking stop annoying me with shit about what I sound like, this, that, or the other, is that I feel like I'm such a mix of different things, but but the two are primarily Billy and X, which is super funny to me. But
They're two very
I
different
really
individuals. I love Billy's
yeah,
music. I love her.
and
I love her music, man.
I do too, and that's just on some. If I were to compare with shit, just because I know people like to do it. Otherwise, I really don't even give a fuck.
That's
I
fair.
really, I think comparing is super corny if it's not like beneficial
Yeah,
in
man. I
some
felt the
in
similar
some
way about
function.
when Pop Smoke left. I was big. I'm huge into drill. Love drill music. So
Bro,
when
I fuck with.
I was more angry. I won't lie. I was just mauling. I was infuriated.
Yeah, no, and anytime unjust shit like that happens, like I said with Juice and X, and like anytime like lives are taken for no reason, like it's fucking infuriating. It affects me a lot just because like I had to deal with it semi personally. So I it's just not what I enjoy. I don't I don't like when shit happens like that.
Yeah,
But
it doesn't feel
you know,
natural.
but people. I mean, people die every day. It sucks, but
We move. At the end of the
yeah,
day, we move. All right,
yeah.
last question. Little spoiler alert for people home. I have made plans to come up to around year ends near Christmas time.
Oh, in St. Louis?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
So, can I get a feature? No, I'm kidding.
I mean, yeah.
No, no, no.
If
I'm
there's
fucking. I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you.
if there's something that I like, then I probably would. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm like that too, right? Like it's interesting you bring that up because like never once have I been asked for a feature. I don't even know. I don't really people don't know me, which is
I asked you
fine.
for one.
And and that's fair. That is fair. But if I did, it would have been through like a DM a couple of months ago from some random ass person that I don't even know. Because otherwise, like I said, I've like literally kept my shit so closed off and so like it's all planned. All of it's planned. I've kept my shit to myself so much that I'm in full control of its release with different things, right? So, um, for people to like ask for features, it's gonna happen a lot more. I know that. It's not happening now. Just again, strictly because people don't know me, which is totally fine
That's
too.
fair.
I really don't care either way. I
I need
don't
I,
really
I,
give a
I,
fuck
I need
either
a
way.
feature from you at some point because your voice is sick. I love this man.
I
Go
appreciate.
to everyone go please go listen to Element. It's actually a banger. That's a
It's pretty
straight
good.
one. You put in the car, you drive in, and you're bopping your head. That's one of them.
It is pretty good. Like I said, and but bro, I'm trying to tell you the shit that has come after even that, like
Is it levels? You're
that
leveling
album.
up. You're leveling up.
It's been well. It's not even. I think it's super funny whenever people are like, "Yeah, bro, more shit to come." Whatever. I'm saying it though from the standard that like the time spent between that album and the shit that I'm doing currently is very different. So
Yeah.
it's just unfair to kind of
I'm not saying
be
that
like,
that is just your thing, but like that's probably I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's a good song.
no, it definitely is. Otherwise, I don't think like
I don't think you
either
would
of
have put
us
it out. Yeah, you wouldn't have put it
would
out.
have been would have been like happy enough to do it because that's Rio's big thing too. Is like if he's not happy with whatever it is that he makes, then he's probably not going to put it out. That's usually just how he is, which is fine. Um,
That's a good mentality to have.
yeah, it's definitely not bad. I tend to be a little more judgmental towards my own stuff. Um, if it includes me, but the song's great. That album is really incredible, like I said too. Um, and really a lot of change. There's just a lot of change that's occurred. So I literally can't explain it because again, when people haven't heard like my music, I can't give you anything to compare it to literally
Well,
because I like because it's not my song, right?
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. No, I get
So
you.
so for someone to listen to my sound or my music particularly is a very different feeling entirely, to be honest.
100%, 100%. Well, everyone, I will leave his Spotify link in the description below. It'll be top line. Go follow it, because the fucking Spotify will email you when he
It
drops
is up.
something.
It is up. Facts. It is there.
It is
Like
there. But
it's available and shit now. So
it is there.
um we're like I said with BMG and the label, like everyone's moving and
Oh yeah,
because
they're all moving. Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
we're
Yeah.
moving into a new place, which is why it's kind of like on some AMP shit. Like if anyone's ever heard of that, where like it's just it's content related, which is really dope. But within that month of time of us moving in and shit, realistically, that's when at least one or two of my singles will be out already. So
Well, I hope everyone watching, and I certainly do look forward to that. Go make sure, and that is going to do it for the interview. Brood, I appreciate you so much for sitting down with me.
always,
Lovely
always.
conversation. You're absolutely class individual. Go ahead and drop follow to Spotify, please, and I'll throw your Twitter down there too. Why not? And
Hell yeah.
and yeah, that's gonna do it. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll have another episode of the pod up next week. Thank you. Take care and goodbye.